Mavention Birthdays is a SharePoint app that can be added to any SharePoint page as an app part, and it displays up to 10 upcoming user birthdays. To install Mavention Birthdays, you simply click the Settings cogwheel, usually in the upper right hand corner of your site page, and from the Settings menu you would choose the Add an App option. On the Add an App page, you would then click the SharePoint Store link, typically in your quick launch on the left hand side of the page. From the SharePoint Store page, you can search for Mavention Birthdays in the search box. I can see Mavention Birthdays in my results. Go ahead and click the link. This takes me to a page where I have an option to add the app. You can see the button labeled Add It. You simply click the Add It button. It would then prompt you to confirm that you want to install the app, and then once it's been installed, then you're ready to start using it. In my case, I've already added it, so I'm going to go back to my site and demo using it. Now before you get started, there is some configuration that needs to be done. The Mavention Birthdays adds a link to my quick launch that will take me to the app site, and from the home page in the app site there's instructions about what you would need to do to configure if you're using an on-premise SharePoint. The top set of instructions you can see there are provided, or there's a separate somewhat different set of instructions if you're using Office 365. In this demonstration I'm using an on-premise SharePoint. I've got it already configured, but I'm going to walk through setting this up. So what you would need is someone with central administration or farm administration permissions, and the main thing is you need to add a new managed property to your search infrastructure. So to get to my search system, I'm going to click my Managed Service Applications link, scroll down and find my search service, and then from my quick launch on my search service configuration page, I click the link under Queries and Results that's labeled Search Schema. This lists all my managed properties. You can see you have a new link, or you have a link in there that's labeled New Managed Property, and you would use that to add the new managed property named Birthday. Now I've already added a managed property called Birthday. You can see the managed property there. If I click it, I can open up and see its properties. Now when you create it, you get the opportunity to not only name it, but to set some options. And some of the important options that you need to set is, one, the type. You need to make sure that you set it to date and time for it to work correctly. It also needs to be marked as searchable. And the documentation on the home page also lists that it needs to be retrievable. They don't list that you need to mark it as queryable, but for it to work on my site, I had to click and include the queryable option, which makes sense because that allows you to query based on a property name or managed property name, which in this case is the birthday property. Also, if I scroll down, there's a sortable property, which the home page tells me I need to set as yes and active. So it's already been configured. Once you configure it in your site, the farm administrator will need to do a full crawl. So I'm going to cancel this. And if you're not familiar where to start a full crawl or how to start a full crawl, you do that typically through your content sources under the crawling section. And then you would take whichever content source has your people search added to it. In my case, I've only got one content source, but I can click the little arrow that opens up the item menu, and then you can start a full crawl from there. And once that crawl completes, you should then be able to see the birthday information. But another very important key piece to this is your profiles, your users' profiles have to make sure that they've got birthday information set. So there is a birthday field. Go back to my central administration site and we'll look at some of the profile settings. I'll click the User Profile Service application, Manage User Profiles. I'm going to find one of my profiles called Homer. Normally the user would fill this in, but I'm going to act as though I'm Homer. I can edit his profile as a farm administrator. You'd want to make sure that he has a picture, because that's going to show up on this app part, the Mavention Birthdays app part. But most importantly, you want to include the birthday field and it tells you how to enter the birthday field. You can see it there in the middle of my screen that you entered in the name of the month and then the day format. And then the managed property will link to this birthday property, and that's what the Mavention Birthdays app part will then link into. So to actually test it out, let me go back to this browser tab, and then I'll go back to my home site. And well, before I do that, if I scroll down, you can see it's already picking up on the information that's a result of my search engine and the birthday information that I've already got stored in there. But if I wanted to add this to a page on my site, let's go back to my home site. I'm going to create a new page to test this. So I'll click my settings cogwheel, and then from my settings menu, I'll click the add a page option. We'll name this birthday demo. And then I'll use the insert tab. And from the insert tab, I'll click the app part option. This shows me all of my app parts, and I note that I've got a Mavention Birthdays app part. I want to select that, click the add button to add it to my page. And I can see that it's already picking up on some of it, but the height of it's not quite right. So I'm going to adjust some of the dimensions. We'll go in and use the menu to edit the web part. I'm going to adjust the web part's height. We'll make it something like 300 pixels, and then we'll give it a width of maybe 500 pixels. Also, if I scroll down to the bottom, there's a group section called Mavention, and from the Mavention section, if I scroll down a little bit more, I can see where I can adjust how many birthdays to display, and I can show a maximum of 10 birthdays that are coming up. We'll click apply. I'm going to leave it set to 3. Click apply, scroll up, and sure enough I can see that it's now showing the size is right. It's showing my my birthdays. Hope it didn't take my width. Let me change my width. Apply that. There we go. Makes the banner across the top a little bit smaller. Click OK to get rid of the properties, and then save my page. And there's my completed page. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.